So I have a question today for you.
Okay.
What is the most fascinating thing you've learned about squirrels?
The most fascinating thing I've learned about squirrels. Well, that's a good question. Um, hmm. So I think my answer to that would be um, how well they can adapt to injuries and wounds. Um, I have a squirrel over here. I'll show him to you in a little bit, but he was attacked by a hawk and he managed to get away. The hawk dropped him, but when he fell, he broke his spine. And now he's paralyzed from the hips down. And so you would think that he would then just like not do anything, right? You know. But we take him outside and he runs around the lawn and he tries to climb the trees. And he's adapted very well to the fact that he can't use his back legs. He can't come back down the tree, but he can go up just fine. So we have to limit how high he goes. And, you know, he does great. And then frequently we get in squirrels that have a near miss with a car. So they end up with neurological damage, brain damage. And, you know, they learn how to deal with the fact that they can't necessarily stand up straight. They might fall over when they try to walk. And I get phone calls from people that say, you know, there's this squirrel that's been in my yard for like the last month that just keeps falling over every time he walks, or he runs in circles constantly. And somehow they're surviving in the wild with brain damage. And I just think that that's really fascinating that they can adapt that well. Another adaptation that they have that has to do with that is their bones heal in about 2 weeks.
Whoa.
So I had a squirrel, I just released her this morning, but I had a squirrel that came in, she had a compound fracture of her back leg. Yeah. Compound fracture is when the bones break completely in two and the ends come out of the skin, okay? And it was both of her shin bones that broke right below the knee. And the bones healed beautifully. She doesn't have 100% use of her back foot now, but she has enough use that she's going to do fine in the wild. She's doing great. Yeah. So, interesting thing about talking about their feet, an interesting thing about that is that their feet turn 180 degrees.
Whoa.
They're the only animal that their feet turn 180 degrees.
That's crazy.
Lots of animals, their hands do, but not their feet. And the reason they do that is so that when they're coming down the tree, their nails are still pointing upwards for gripping the tree. And that's why they can be so fast in the trees, because they can turn their feet around and have their claws gripping at the back upwards and at the bottom, you know, straight. And it gives them a lot of agility and ability to get around in the trees. So he lost most of his hand to the chainsaw.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's healing really, really well.
That's sad.
He's doing great. And he'll probably still be able to be released because it's a front hand. If it was one of his back paws, that would cause issues with being able to descend. It's the squirrel equivalent of Down syndrome. And she's only about a week old.
Oh my God.
So her eyes aren't open yet. Her ears are still
Where's her
closed.
eyes?
So her eyes are here. See this little
How are
black?
they gonna be open?
So her eyes and her ears are still developing. They're still growing. They're still doing what they need to do. And so when she's about...
Does she get brain damage?
No. When she's
Thank
about
the
3
Lord.
weeks... Yeah, amen. When she gets about 3 weeks old, her ears will open up. The ear canal will open up and she'll have that hole like we do.
Oh.
But right now it's closed. And you can see her ear doesn't look like a grown-up squirrel's ear
It
yet.
looks like an elf ear.
And then her mouth is fine. Her mouth is great.
Wow.
She doesn't have any teeth yet because she's so little. But
Can I touch her?
yeah, you want to hold her?
Oh no, I'm
Okay.
sure. I don't know. I'm scared.
No, you won't.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.